Let's go ahead and bring in Steiner Sports CEO, Brandon Steiner.
One of the country's top memorabilia moguls.
I have an unbelievable guest, Brandon Steiner.
Brandon's second to none.
I told you we'd be back Monday, and I have asked you all weekend, does service matter? Do people care about service anymore, or is it all about 60, 50, 30, 40 off when you don't have to do anything and you're just waiting, you're clicking and picking, whatever. I don't even know. There's so much price confusion right now in the marketplace, which is what I want to bring into the fold. I've got my good friend, and really, I when I say good friend, I also mean to say this is a master of customer service. Not many people, when I talk to, can trump me on just things I never thought about when it comes to customer service. You seem to have mastered it. Shep Hyken. His latest book, Be Amazing or Go Home. We'll talk a little bit about that. If you're into customer service or you're not into it, you maybe need to be into it, this will be a good conversation for you. Welcome.
Hey, man, it's great to be here.
Now, Project X, we take some calls from entrepreneurs and we talk about issues that are going on in the marketplace, which I'm dying to ask you. Are there issues in the marketplace? Are there issues with companies not respecting customer service like the way they used to?
Well, so I'll give you a stat that's pretty interesting to me. Last year it came out that $62 billion was lost due to poor customer service, up 50% from 2 years before, which would lead you to believe customer service is really getting worse. The reality of it is, I think it's getting better. If you look at another set of stats that comes out of the University of Michigan, every sector of business is improving in customer service satisfaction rate surveys with customers. And even the government, by the way, which is pretty cool.
Really?
And last week, the government signed into law that they now have this customer service initiative, which government customer service, I'm not going to call it an oxymoron. I want to see it work. It does work in some places. But anyway, I digress. You had a question.
I was just thinking, I think of the airlines and how hard it is to get somebody on the phone. And even Amazon, who everyone loves Amazon. Mm-hmm. But it's hard to get somebody on the phone if you have a complaint, you want to talk about it.
You really? Have you tried?
I tried a couple of times. It wasn't easy, but do you feel like Amazon's mastering customer service?
I think they do it really well. First of all, most everything you need on Amazon is a self-service kind of find your own answer. But if you can't, we call, and what happens is they are busy, and they say they will call you back in X number of minutes, and they do. And when they do, they always give you the answer that you want. It's great.
They may have been the one company that's mastered the price, quality, and service.
Right. So this is what's interesting.
Not easy to do.
No. It used to be, there was some salesperson years ago that said, this is how I sell. I tell people they can have a quality product, they can have a great price, and they can have amazing service. You get to choose 2 out of 3. And that doesn't work anymore. You've got to have 3 out of 3. However, the price doesn't have to be the lowest price. It just has to be somewhat competitive. Think of Amazon, where if you go and you look at an item on Amazon, it will say, here's the Amazon price. By the way, you can find it somewhere else at a lower price. And they actually post it, and they give you a link to where it is.
Is that the best you've seen?
Well, I mean, they're so confident that their service is so good that you wouldn't want to trust anybody else, because you can trust Amazon that you won't click on the lower price. And that's how confident they are. That proves that you don't necessarily have to have the lowest price. Now, if you go to Walmart, great company, love Walmart, you don't expect to have Nordstrom level of service at Walmart.
Or quality.
Well, it depends. They got good merchandise. You're paying for price and selection, okay? And if you want to find somebody in an aisle, you're probably going to have to go to the front and ask the cashier to help you find somebody to come out of the back. They're not known for staffing the aisles with people, but you get great price. And you know what? You drive in front of a Walmart, you're going to see a Mercedes-Benz parked out there. You're going to see a Toyota parked out. Everybody loves to buy from Walmart, but they know what they're going to get. They're not going to complain that there wasn't somebody in the aisle to take care of you. And if they do, you know what? Then go to Nordstrom or go to some other high-end store and get the service at that level that you want.
I'm dying to hear from you. What's your favorite company because of service? What's your not so favorite company because of lack of service? I want to hear from you. And also, does service matter? Does service still matter? Because, I don't know, I think there's a lot of companies getting away without any service.
And I think that somebody will come along and disrupt them. So
Okay.
you've heard of disruptors. Like
course.
who's a major disruptor in the world? Amazon is a disruptor.
Big.
They disrupted the retail industry. By the way, someone's going to come along and try to disrupt them.
Tesla.
Tesla.
Great
Tesla's,
disruptor.
Uber. You may
Uber.
not like the management of Uber, and maybe they're trying to fix that, but Uber disrupted the entire industry of transportation.
No question.
And here's what's happening now. Lyft and other companies are going to try to disrupt the disruptor, and anytime they fall. But you don't have to think about disrupting an entire industry. If you want to be excelling at service, think about just disrupting your competitors. What can you offer that they can't? What will you do? What extra step will you take? Will you shave off some of your margin to give an experience that they say, wow, I wouldn't go anywhere else? Think about Ace Hardware. This is one of my favorite companies in the world.
Let's hear it. I want to hear it.
Ace Hardware competes against the big boxes. It's David against Goliath. It's Ace Hardware against Home Depot and Lowe's and Menards and all these other big box stores. Yet, how does an Ace Hardware that's been in business for 50 years, tiny store, 10,000, 12,000 square feet, next door in the shopping center, Home Depot goes up. You know, now it's 100,000 square feet against 10,000. And Home Depot outspends Ace Hardware in advertising by 30-1. And their prices are lower. And there's more selection. So how does Ace Hardware compete against that?
How?
One word, service. And they've mastered it. When you come in to a Home Depot, this is good service. Welcome to Home Depot. What can I help you find today? I'm looking for these. Oh, those are in aisle 2. Just walk down there. They're on the left side. They're even a bunch of different colors. You can't miss them. Here's what happens at Ace Hardware. What can I help you find today? I'm looking for these. Come here and let me show you. And they walk you. By the way, what are you using these for? And as you're talking to them, they go, you know what, that's good. I've got another idea for you. You might like it. It's even less expensive. And a couple other things you might need while you're here. And all of a sudden, why go anywhere else? They aren't just good service. They're helpful service. And that's how they've made their reputation. Ace is the place, the helpful hardware place. That's their tagline. And so they've mastered the concept of using service as the big differentiator to compete against the Goliaths of the.
You're out there speaking all the time and to many companies about service. Is it still as much on people's minds these days, or is it?
Yeah. And if you look at the companies, if you ask executives of major companies, what's the most important thing you're going to be investing in, up to 80% right now are saying we're going to invest in the customer experience.
Have a question on service? Want to talk to Shep? Just right below, message in. We're going to take some calls.
Call us. Yep.
So give us a call. We love talking about it. I think it also gets lost in entrepreneurism because you get stuck on your idea. But it is a big part of facilitating the ideas about how people feel about this connection.
Yeah, they need to love working with you. And I mean, love is a relative term. If you'd like to have satisfied customers.
I think people are proud to be a Steiner customer. I know it sounds.
Yeah.
I think that we're a customer service company. We don't have a department. We have a customer service company. Mm-hmm. Everyone here is responsible.
You just happen to sell cool memorabilia.
And the rule of thumb is, if somebody calls with a problem, it's got to be comparable to your mom. It's your mom.
Right.
You're going to send your mom to somewhere or call her back, or you're going to – no, your mom. You're not blowing your mom off.
My friend Gene Bliss is coming out with a book next year, would you do this to your mom?
That's exactly.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yep.
That
something, I don't know if that's the title, but it's something like that.
Something like that, yeah. By the way, Shep's new book, Be Amazing or Go Home.
Yes.
It's just, when does that come out? When is it?
It just came out last month.
Last month.
Yeah, you can go on Amazon.com and pick it up there. You can get it in an ebook. And,
all right, we're taking a call. Fernando from Sports Contender.
Fernando.
How are you, Fernando?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome to the program. What's going on? What's your story?
Well, I'm working with public parks, National Park and Rec organizations to build a program it's a sports-related event program where we're going to program basketball tournaments, kind of pickup-style basketball tournaments. So you bring your team and you enter to play on one side of the court. On the other side of the court, we're going to invite skills trainers, camps, clinics that are nearby to whichever location we're here.
Where are these taking place? Where?
I'm in Broward County, Florida. The actual city is going to be Pompano Beach.
Now, are you doing only down there, or are you going to be doing them all over the country?
I'm proving the concept here. I actually went to go visit Atlanta. I want to say 4 months ago to visit with the Atlanta Hawks and discuss the program that we had at that time. And they were interested in the program. It's just they couldn't do anything at this time, for their reasons, their own reasons. So I'm from Broward County, Florida.
So they gave you a soft no. But who'd you meet
Yeah.
Who'd you meet to Atlanta? Who'd you meet? One of the owners, the marketing person, who?
I met with the vice president of basketball operations.
Okay.
I met with him 3 times. Each time, he committed to give me any type of material if I were to move out there. He said, yeah, I'll give you free game tickets. I'll provide discounts to camps and clinics that we have. He gave me, yeah, I'll do that for you, but you have to come to Atlanta.
Okay.
And that's where I stood at the time.
I like Atlanta. A lot of ball in Atlanta. I played some good ball in Atlanta. Now, what's the goal? Like, what's in the way of where you are now versus where you want to be?
What I need is a spokesperson. I need
Atlanta's
someone
nice.
that's in the in the professional leagues that wants to take use their money towards another stream of revenue and be the face of the organization in a way, to give some credibility. And other than that, I'm gonna be bootstrapping it from this point on.
But right now, you have is the ultimate goal is to be doing those on a regular basis, or it's gonna be like 2 or 3 times a year.
So the goal is I have it's a social media app program too. So via the app, I'm gonna get different players nationwide just to download my app, make a player profile, and then from that point, I'm gonna have events that are gonna be probably every 2 to 3 times a year.
Okay.
And depending on the weather and where I'm going at, but that app would basically farm my talent, and then from there I could shoot out blasts either text message or through my app. That would this time it would be through my website because I'm still in development of the app.
And what is your website? Like, why would you say my website instead of mentioning your website? Like, I don't when somebody asks me a question about what's going on with your website, you mean SteinerSports.com?
Of course.
Yeah, you have to make sure that when you get the opportunity to plug what you're doing, you got to take advantage of that. And also, your elevator pitch needs to be tighter. I'm still trying to get my arms around exactly what you're trying to do. It seems like you want to put some events together down in Florida, using some players. And are they for inner city kids? Are they for just anybody who balls? Like, who is this for?
I'm going to be targeting inner city.
So is this like like a 3-day, all-day tournament kind of thing where people register their teams?
Yeah, it's going to be a 2-day event. I'm going to basically farm my players from the app that I'm having, and I'm going to...
Everybody gets caught up in these apps.
Yeah, let me say it's going to be on sportcontender.com. It's
all right.
sportcontender.com.
Sportcontender.com. So if I'm down in Florida and I'm an inner city kid, I want to maybe go get myself in one of these tournaments, or I'm going to bring a team to one of these tournaments, I'm going to go to sportscontender.com and register. But it seems like you need a name because you really want it to be, Larry Birds or Magic Johnson or Tim Hardaway or, right? Dwayne Wade's tournament.
It's going to be, it's going to be, players that grew up in the area, which would be cool if I could have a player that represents a certain geographic area throughout the United States.
Well, start with Florida. If you just went and Googled former NBA players that live in Florida, I think you're going to come up with a gazillion players that are a little bored. The other thing is, if you call up the NBA the NBA Retired Players Association, they have a list of like 500 or 1,000 different players that are looking to do things and looking to be involved. You can go online, you can look them up, and you'd be surprised. There's a lot of players that still love the game. They probably aren't even that much in need of money as much as they want to do some good work with inner city kids. You can kind of team up with a group of them. And you may even want to group and team up with the NBA retired players. This way you get players from all over the world, all over the country. That may give you a solution or a one-stop shop and partner up with them. They're always trying to do clinics, but you could be their guy.
Yeah, that's what I've been working on. Is just I've been working with the Atlanta the prospect in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Worked out a different program for them. Had several meetings with them. Like I said, they gave me a soft no. But
maybe go. But you're with that's the team, and the team is more focused on the current guys. And listen, there's nothing more powerful than the NBA and the current teams. But it sounds like you want to go get something going on around the country. The teams will eventually come on board when it's appropriate, but why not just go after the retired players?
Right. Most of these teams have alumni groups.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I got when I reached out to Atlanta Hawks, they told me about their alumni groups. They told me about their costs. So, I'm aware of that. Is really just kind of lining up everything the way it needs to be, making sure I have my partnerships with the park and rec organizations stabilized, work on some partnerships with large organizations like the NBA or like the, MLS or, just a major sporting organization. But right now I'm in the process of planning an event about 3 months from now.
Is this your first one?
Yep, my first event. Yep, I got a partnership agreement with the city of Pompano. They have 3 parks. They're going to be doing a grand opening in a park that I actually grew up playing in, so it works perfect.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay, so you got to make this work. You're starting to move into your career now. This is something that's got to stick. I guess let me ask you a couple questions. First of all, remember about first impressions. See, if you're going to do this, if you're not ready, don't do it. If you're going to do your first one, it's got to be
nail it,
balls to the wall. It's got to be right. So, have you got some sponsors? Have you got somebody helping you a little bit with the PR aspect to make sure you're videotaping and shooting all this sort of thing and making sure you got the collateral material so that's going to help you get future sponsors? And you can do the follow-up with the existing sponsors to show them what they've bought into, what they experienced, and making sure you got all the social media set up, especially where you're dealing with a lot of younger audiences here. Your social exposure and your social networking is going to be critical, that you have the right person hired during those few days and certainly for weeks beforehand to really hype this thing up and promote it. And you're right on track. You do need, I think, some players. Getting associated with some players will be a big help. In this particular case, you don't need the biggest names. I always say sometimes, you could theme them and team them. It's great to go get LeBron James, and nobody's bigger on the planet, but you can theme and team them, get the same effect of getting 3 or 4 retired players that may be a little bit out of the mainstream, but sometimes those guys, some of those parts can give you the same effect. And then your social media person sponsors can kind of grab onto that, and you're delivering them some value. Sounds like you have to partner up with them a little bit and give them a little bit of the upside as far as either name recognition, possibly monetary part, that kind of thing.
Yep. So to answer that, I honestly been getting my workforce from the people I played around with. So that's actually a pretty good experience. I've been playing around here. I've got in contact with a lawyer that's willing to help me out, just get all the paperwork situated. Like I said, I got the partnership with the city of Pompano, which they helped me out with the with any permit fees. I have a partnership with them going on. I reached out to vendors, for the event, such as skilled trainers, camps, clinics. I reached out to them. They showed interest. They're just waiting on the date and the pricing for that. I also reached out to some private tutors.
If I want to register my team right now, can I?
Right now, you could just register online to get some updated information. Really, it's going to be kind of a... Hold
on. Can I register my team, or you're not ready for that quite yet?
Not ready for that quite yet.
I always love when people answer another question, not the one I ask. You sure you don't work for Steiner? That's kind of what happens over here. I ask questions and people give me answers. But anyway, you be careful here. Like, if you're not ready, then take your time, get it right. Make sure that everything's right, because a sponsor's going to want to see the structure of this, know how many kids are going to be playing over the course of those few days, and it's got to feel right. That's important. Remind me offline. I'm going to give you a great contact of a friend of mine that runs a big basketball training thing for kids down there, not far from you, and you should team up with him. He'll bring you a lot of kids, and he's somebody that I mentored about 8-9 years ago, and he built a hell of a nice business down there. And I think the two of you will make a good team. Sounds like you need a little bit of a business component part to you, but it's really important to focus on the business. The brilliance is just the obvious, not necessarily coming up with some new scheme. It's basketball. Kids love playing basketball. The sport is hotter than ever, but you got to get the basic stuff down and making sure you got all that basic stuff, because ultimately what will make or break it with this thing will be getting a couple sponsors and getting some support. That's where the money is. The kids aren't going to be bringing you a ton of money to register in this tournament. They'll bring you some, but the real money will come, and it's really hard to market to kids these days. So having a young kid, like I've got a young kid right here, help me market. A Generation Z, he's a high school kid. Jesse, I don't know if you got the camera on, Ben. But, he's teaching me how to market to youth and younger audiences, because it's not easy. And it's a different kind of marketing, yet on the sponsorship levels, you got to go market to some of the older people like myself. So, you got to be a little multifaceted on this approach. All right. I'll give you the last word here. Give me one. Is there one thing that you really looking for help with? It's like you need money, but what's the one thing that would help you right now dramatically if somebody out there is watching?
I need a tech team. I need a tech team to really put the vision of what I'm looking to put together on phones, on my website, and have all that situated so I could get the right data needed to make this what I need it to be.
Can I give you one bit of advice? Fernando.
Please. Mm-hmm.
That tech team is right at the local high school. It's your customer, and nobody's going to do it better than they will. You may want to just stop into one of the better high schools in the area and ask if there's a group of kids that want to help you and work on this.
Yep. Great project. They'll get graded on it.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's free.
They'll love
it.
That. I love that. Like that sign ball you have out there. No,
Which
that's
one?
Not free.
Yeah, it's not free. No, the Brandon Steiner ball is free. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we'll get to that. Yeah, they got to have balls, wherever that is. Oh, it's over there.
Nice plug right there.
Hey, Fernando, good luck. I'll look for you offline. Keep in touch. By the way, they got to have balls. This is the ball. This is free. But all kidding aside, your help is not expensive. And especially your marketing to high school kids and middle school kids, that's where the highest number of kids that are playing basketball are. I would just go to the high schools and grab some of those kids that they're dying. The entrepreneurism level, the entrepreneurship going on in high school today is off the charts. I get a call a day to speak at a high school where 10 years ago, nobody even knew from entrepreneurship. These kids are great with tech. They want to learn. They love projects like this. You may find some partners right there in the high school.
They have entrepreneurship classes.
It looks like my next step. I appreciate that.
All right. Hey, good luck. Let's keep in touch. Let me know how things are going for you, all right? Good luck with that, and maybe you never know. Maybe I'm popping down. I love basketball. It doesn't take much to get me going. I still play twice a week.
Yeah,
Still
I heard
playing.
that you brought a boombox and got some D1 players out there playing against some pickup games.
You heard about my shenanigans out in the city. I'm not going. I'm going to Manhattan Park Light. I got to go with some serious length. I got to go with some because in case I miss, I got to get somebody to get me the rebound so I can keep shooting. All right, man. Good luck. Good luck.
I appreciate it. Have a great day. Thank you for your time.
Man. You got it. Thank you. It's amazing. Like sometimes the help is right there in front of you.
Yeah. We love going to. I've hired high school interns. We go to college, get internships out of college. They're amazing what they know. They know so much more than us. Us old guys.
Why customer service? By the way, I was thinking, how'd you get into this?
You know what? My parents taught me when I was a kid. I had a birthday party magic show. Talk about an entrepreneur in grade school, high school, 12 years old. I was making money doing magic shows. And what I quickly learned was that if you write a thank you note and you call up and you say thank you again and you ask, hey, how'd I do? They tell you how you did. And if they said, you did a great job. And by the way, my dad said, hey, find out what tricks they really liked. And after you talk to a bunch of parents and they all leave out this trick. I thought that was a good trick. Apparently it wasn't. They never remembered it. So that's all customer service, getting feedback, getting better. I had no idea that's what it was called, but that's what I was doing when I was 12, 13, 14 years old. When I went to high school and college, I had regular jobs, and I continued to work. The best job I ever had was at age 16.
Tell us, what
I was
was
doing
it?
Comedy and magic at the Playboy Club.
So you're a comedian. You're a comedian
I got
or a
pictures.
magician.
I
Playboy
did
Club in
Comedy
the city
Magic.
or up in Jersey?
In the city.
Okay.
Comedy Magic.
57th Street.
Yeah, Comedy Magic. And I started out doing close-up magic, and then the guy took a chance and put me on stage as an opening act and cut the bunny in parts and took her middle out and had fun with it. Went to college, did this, and I'd worked also regular jobs. Worked in a retail industry. So I kind of knew what service was. Worked at a gasoline station, self-service gasoline station. It's the coldest day of the year. An elderly woman pulls up. I go out to help her pump her gas so she doesn't have to get out of the car. I come in. She pays. I come in. And my manager says, why did you do that? Now she's going to expect that every time. I said, well, sir, it's like 25 below zero. She's about 85 years old.
The right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do. And he goes, and I said, and by the way, maybe she'll come back here instead of the station that's on that corner, and that corner. There were 4 of them right there, us included. And he just gave me this look, and I realized I know I did the right thing. And that's because my parents taught me to do the right thing.
Is it about doing the right thing or thinking about the right thing is what I always say. I tell my salespeople, don't do the right thing. It starts think about the right
start
thing.
thinking about it, then
And
do it.
then
Because
do
if
it,
all
then
you're
do
doing
it,
is
yeah.
thinking about
Yeah.
it's thinking about it. It's
Yeah.
not going to work.
Yeah.
Now, that type of customer service is be amazing or go home type customer service. You know, showing up on time, never making people wait, doing the right thing.
If you're a salesperson out there, what's the most important message? Give me like 2 or 3 keys.
So number one, manage the moment, and that could be the first impression, which, by the way, isn't the first time you meet somebody. It could be the 500th time. You're setting the tone for the impression that's to follow, or for the interaction that's to follow. The moment is managing the moment for a positive experience. Years ago, this guy, Jan Carlson, came up with this idea, the moment of truth in
Jan
business.
Carlson.
Jan Carlson, former
Who's
president
Jan?
of Scandinavian
okay.
Airlines,
All right.
okay? And his airline was not doing well, and he took it over, and he got every employee to manage the moment of truth. Anytime a passenger had any interaction with anybody at the airline, they formed an impression. It needed to be a good one. And he says if everybody would focus on that, and even the small little interactions like you're walking by somebody and just smile at them, you know, little things, those all add up. He said, if you would manage those, we'll become profitable and successful again. And they did. The most admired airline in the industry. So he said the moment of truth can be good and bad. And there's a third way that I add to it. So the bad, I call moments of misery. We try to avoid those. Those are negative. You know, we were talking about airlines earlier. You know, you have a bad experience on an airline. Maybe it's just a bad experience. Maybe you have a real complaint. It's negative, moment of misery. The moment of mediocrity. And that is where most companies reside. They're average at best. They're satisfactory. That's how did you rate our service? Satisfactory. Well, you've got excellent, good, satisfactory, fair, and poor, right? And then, of course, you got fine. You want to stay away from fine.
Smack right in the middle.
Yeah, fine is not good either.
It's kind of where my wife goes, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
Stay away from that.
If you
Not
ever
good.
ask your wife, is everything okay? And she goes, fine. It's not fine. Fine is not good. Fine, only if you say that's mighty fine.
Fine means we'll be fighting either later tonight or tomorrow.
Fine
about
is
something.
the F-bomb
Yeah.
of customer service.
Yeah.
Here, tweet that, okay?
The F-bomb, another F-bomb word. Okay, I like that. Yeah.
So
Fine.
Fine. So average is not good. But a positive moment of truth is a moment of magic. That's something that's above average. And it could be this much above average, a tiny bit. But if you are consistently above average, consistently creating moments of magic, and once in a while they're going to be great. When somebody has a complaint, you fix it and they go, wow, these guys are awesome. I know I can trust them, okay? Because nobody's perfect. That doesn't mean you're flawless. It just means you know how to deal with the problem. But if you consistently create those moments of magic, those positive experiences, you're an amazing company.
You have an example of that?
Well, sure. I mean, you know, we can talk about all kinds. Well, let's talk about the Ritz-Carlton. I mean, they're a ritzy kind of hotel, fancy. It's a good brand. They're not perfect. But when there's a problem, they know what to do to fix the problem. As a matter of fact, their definition of a problem is an opportunity, which that's kind of an old thing. Problems are opportunities. But one night, they lost my luggage. I had them store my luggage before I checked in. I got to check in. They lost the luggage. And the guy picks up the phone. He's calling another person. He says, hey, we've got an opportunity right now. We don't have a problem with lost luggage. By the way, they found the luggage in the lost and found. It just took them hours to go to that closet. But
So what they do in the interim?
So what they did in the interim was nice. It was late at night. They went into the gift shop. They opened it up. They gave me sweatshirts and things to wear and all the toiletries, just so if I got up in the morning and I didn't want to wear what I was wearing, I'd have something to change into. They said they assured me that they would have the issue resolved. And they did, of course. They found it. They let me keep the sweatshirts. And it was just a really
cool.
quick play. So there's a great example. And I've got hundreds of examples of great customer service stories. You know, then you've got, you know, the airlines. And we were talking about that. There's airlines that excel in service and some that don't. And coincidentally, one of the airlines that excels in service is not the highest priced airline. It's
Which is?
Southwest.
Southwest.
Southwest is great.
Do you think they've nailed it? Because they seem like they got a lot of people's attention.
They do. They nail it because they promise you low prices and peanuts with a great attitude. They do not promise you a first-class seat in the front of the plane. They don't promise you a meal. They stick to their lane. And when Herb Kelleher ran that airline, if somebody made a suggestion, he would always ask, is this going to keep us in the lane? That's not the words he would use, but basically, is this going to keep us as the low-cost airline that people are going to want to fly on because we're treating people right?
So it sounds like, you know, in customer service, a lot of things get off track is when you create an expectation level and don't live up to it.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, that's part of it. If you make a promise and you don't nail it, and that's why I love, you know, the great restaurants that are out there. The expectation to go into the restaurant with the amazing reputation is just meet the expectation. Most companies, what they need to do in order to beat the competition is exceed the expectation. Now, how much do you have to exceed it? Remember what I just told you. A tiny
Just
little
a little bit.
But if you do it all the time, you're gonna own that customer.
Because it's all relative.
Right.
Right?
Exactly. It's my aunt, my uncle relative. No, it is all relative.
Are you still on the handwritten note in the box or the follow-up phone call, or do you think it's okay to just do the quick text?
So
or the quick email?
today's type of way of corresponding with people is different. People don't mind a text or an email, but if you want to stand out, send the note. Send something. Also, I love it when somebody sends a small little token of appreciation, nothing expensive. And you know what? It doesn't have to have your logo on it. It just needs to be something nice.
Oh,
that,
they send you these things, the logo. I mean, can I wear the shirt with the logo any bigger? I'm really going to wear that. I mean, can you just put a small little,
and, that
or
that
no
might
logo?
Be fine. That might be fine. Hey, I'll give you an example. This is your business. One of my agents who books me, Brian Lord from Premier. I don't know if Premier's booked you before. An amazing guy. We were talking about the concept of the after experience, which is what happens after the sale, what happens after the experience that you have. And he said, you know what, I try to find something personal about people. And this is what he did. He found out that somebody liked a baseball player that was like kind of an obscure baseball player. He went on eBay. He got an autographed baseball. I can't tell you got it from here. I can't even tell if it was authentic, but he got a baseball. He got the little case, and he sent it with a note. No logo of his company on there, and he sent it to the note with a note to the client saying, thanks for booking one of our speakers. I just thought you might enjoy this. And the client says, how do you remember that I liked it? I mean, it's over the top.
I'm not recommending this action, although I am suggesting the idea.
Yeah.
Just call Steiner Sports. I mean, I'm
call
going on eBay.
Get the right.
Love the
get
idea.
right
The execution a little
baseball.
shaky. Love that idea.
Yeah.
I mean, how cool is that?
Yep.
Especially if you hit a nerve where you know somebody's a favorite fan of a hockey player or a baseball player, you just send them a little nugget.
And they could love anything. Just find out what their hobby is and do it. By the way, my friend John Rulin, who you may or may not know, you need to know him. He has a book called Giftology.
He was on here. He
was
right here.
okay.
Yeah.
John's my buddy.
Yeah,
John's my
love
buddy.
him. And he believes that gifting, you could really grow and build your business through gifting.
Don't send anybody a fruitcake.
Right.
Or a glass or a bottle
Put
of wine.
a little love into your gift.
Yeah, they're going to drink the wine. It's going to be gone. They'll never remember you gave them the wine.
Okay? I think
but they'll
sending
always
the
remember
right,
a baseball from
sending the
Steiner
right
Sports.
gift to the right person at the right time is just priceless.
Yep. Yeah.
You know?
And it makes a point. You know, one of the things I like to do, I started writing thank you notes in my book. And after my client books me, I write a nice little note in the book, and I started thinking that might be too overtly promotional. So I have a stack of thank you cards in my briefcase, finished with this speech. There's also something else I do. We're going to talk about an app. Can we talk about the app?
We can. I mean,
roll your eyes. It's called BombBomb.
I'm an app fan. I just think sometimes people rely on this app like it's going to be the savior of their company.
This is not developing an app for your own company. It's using an app out there called BombBomb. BombBomb is a B-O-M-B, 2 words combined into one.
Okay.
It's a video app. And what you do is you take your phone and you say, hey, Brandon, it was great seeing you. I had a great time. Lunch was great. Our Facebook Live and video presentation, that was great. Thanks so much. Can't wait to see you next time. And you send it to them. And it's not like you're sending somebody a video that they have to open up and it's a huge file. It's really cool the way it works. And when I'm finished with the speech,
I love that.
And I send this I'm in the cab on the way to the airport, and I do this to my client, 20 minutes after I got off stage. They go, wow, this is a really cool thing. And you can track how many times they open and watch it. So almost every time you see that they've watched it 4 or 5 times, and I call for my debrief call. I go, did you watch it 4 or 5 times? No, I showed everybody what you did. It was so cool.
I love that. Jess, we got to get that app on my phone right now.
Let's do it.
We got to roll with that. And also, I like this app called, the guy was on the show, Thanks. THNKS. So you get a notification, and after we meet, I bought you a Starbucks coffee.
Yep, that's cool.
Or a signed baseball, or after we went to the game together, or something like that, and it comes through on the app. I love that. So he had bought me, I forget. He bought me 5 days of coffee at Starbucks.
That's cool. And how much did that cost? Minimal amount of money. And
nice little touch, nothing over the top.
Right, nothing over the top. And that's important. I think if you could do something thoughtful, not over the top, a handwritten note, not over the top, costs $1 for postage in the note. It makes some pretty good impact. But you know what? Some people like the text message. Some people like
Yeah.
the email. At least you're showing some form of appreciation.
I like this. Just do this much.
A little bit more.
Just a little more than what's
bit more than
expected.
what they expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any questions we have out there?
I know a couple of people are asking what would be your advice. What do you think the number one thing that small companies are dealing with that they're struggling with in terms of customer service? What's the number one issue that they're having?
Hiring the right people, that's the number one issue. You hire right, then you train them. You don't just train them one time. I just did a cartoon, it was about a week or two ago, where the boss is saying to his employee, it's your customer service skills need a little work. When was the last time we trained you? He says, well, I've been here 25 years, so I guess it's been about 25 years. So customer service training is not something you did, it's something you do. It's a soft skill. You got to constantly remind people. So I want you to think about this. Service is not a department. Customer service is a philosophy. And when you hire people, you need to hire people that not only are good at what they do, but also good at understanding what you need to do for a customer. Disney, for example, you have 3 jobs. You go to work at Disney. You have 3 jobs. Number 1 is you do the job you were hired to do. Take tickets, sweep the park, be an executive, help people on a ride. Doesn't matter. Second job, you take care of that guest. One is not more important than the other. Third job, you keep the park clean. Okay, and that means you pick up the paper and you see trash, and that's really what your job is. Now, not everybody needs to keep their park clean, so to speak, but the first 2 jobs apply to every single business.
Hold on. Go back to the beginning of that. That was a
Okay.
tweet right out of the gate. Hit me with that again.
Which is the job is customer service is not a department, it's a philosophy. Yeah. So, and everybody has at least 2 jobs, the job they were hired to do and to take care of the customer.
And also, in addition to that, what do you think's like the easiest fix a company can make that they're just forgetting about that is an easy fix to improving their customer service?
So the easiest fix is I'm going to give you the number 1 tool that we give our clients that makes the biggest difference in the world for their culture, and that is this. Give everybody an index card and have them write on the index card an example of when they've created a positive experience for either an outside customer, one that's paying, or an internal customer, one that they work with that's dependent upon them for anything. See, that's why the guy in the warehouse has just as big an impact on the customer as the person on the phone talking to the customer.
Exactly.
Because in the warehouse, if the person doesn't package the thing right and it shows up damaged, it reflects on the company, bad service experience. But here's what happens. Everybody writes an example, short little 2-3 sentences. Don't write a novel. And then if it's a small company, it's real easy. Sit down, have your meeting, and everybody reads it, and they share their example, and the manager or the owner can say, hey, that's a great one. Everybody, this is what we need to do. Great. You can create your best practice manual with the ideas that your employees come up with, but you don't do it once. You do it every week.
It's funny you
That's
say
the
that.
key.
At Hyatt, we read the comment cards every week to
Every
start our
week.
meeting. Good, bad, and indifferent. And those bad ones, we jumped on like white on rice. We were just all over that, and then we had to respond and make sure that was taken care of. That was every week exercise at Hyatt.
Mm-hmm.
Never forget that.
It keeps it in front of you. And by the way, when you have the complaint and you talk about jumping on it, I think the next week you come back and say, let's talk about how we resolve that complaint. Because a lot of customer service shouldn't be about just handling complaints. It should be about doing the right thing. We have we call it the moment of magic card. Every week somebody has to bring in an idea when they created the story of the moment of magic in our company. Sometimes it comes from a moment of misery that we fixed. But many times it's like we had a client, they called, and they were so impressed that I was able to get back to them within 20 minutes the information that they asked for. That's the moment of magic.
My friend Hank Mackin is, if somebody calls you, you have to get that return call in 20 minutes.
Right. I mean, you've got to set your standards.
Hello.
Yeah.
You're not doing that out there. 20 minutes. I'm like, if nobody calls anybody back. I mean,
So
I try to
we
call people back, but
right.
it'd be nice to get the response rate, that urgency going back again.
One day, and as professional speakers, and you and I both go around the world and we talk about what we do. I do customer service, and you talk about your books and
value
sales
proposition
and all that.
is kind of my
we
main
get
game.
paid nice
Teamwork,
fees
winning.
to do that. Okay, and I feel like I'm the luckiest guy in the world that somebody paid me to walk up on stage and do this. So one day, I knew who my competitor was. They told me it's between you and somebody else. Great, and they chose me. And I was shocked that they chose me because I know the other guy, he would have been great for this too. Might have even been better for it. So I asked, why did you choose me? The answer was, you returned our call. What? You not only returned our call, it was somebody on my team returned the call like within 20 minutes. The other client, or the other speaker, excuse me, the other speaker didn't return the call for like 4 days. Is that the kind of person you went up on stage talking to people about how to deliver an amazing customer experience? I don't think so. 2
last things here. This book.
Yes.
What's different about this book? Because you have written a few others.
I have. That's number 6.
What makes this? There's not Passover, first Steiner Seder or anything. Why is this book different than all the books? But
because on this day we sit in the recline, or something like that. So this book is different. I'll tell you so the first book, Moments of Magic, was about 10 ways you can create a moment of magic. Then the next books were about companies and how they're doing it, and you can use them as role models. Lots of role models, lots of examples. The last book was very tactical. It was called Amaze Every Customer Every Time, and it was 52 tools. And I used Ace Hardware as an example. Get it? Tools, Ace Hardware. 52 tools that you can use to create it. And it was the kind of thing where everybody should read it because their tools are great. But this is about habits. One day, one of my people, my assistant, started coming in late, like every day. It became a habit. And I realized this is a bad habit, so we got to make it right. And as I started to talk to her about it, I said, you know, you got a choice. Our mantra at Shepherd Presentations, our company, is be amazing or go. No, it's always be amazing. And that's when, I said, is this amazing behavior, showing up late every day? She said, no. And then said, well, be amazing or go home. It's your choice. And she goes, that's a great title for a book. And she smiled. I wrote it down. That was like 2.5 years ago. and so she fixed her problem.
And it's really the moral of the story, because if your company's not amazing on some level, this much, you're probably all going home.
It's a habit. So everything this is for very much an individual to take this. There's 7 major customer service habits, but there's really about 35 that kind of fall underneath these 7. And if you study these, you're going to find a dozen of them that you go, you know what, this is what I got to make sure I do every day with every person I work for, not just my customers, but everybody I work with. They're my internal customer. And even people at home, people you love, your family
internal
members, your
customer
best friend.
is employees,
Yeah,
the warehouse, or the
people
receptionist, the host,
yeah,
the line cook.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Everybody, if the line cook doesn't do his or her job, it's going to mess something up down the line, right?
No question.
So that person down there is dependent upon this person to manage that particular part of the experience.
Is there one habit that's worth talking about here?
Well, that first one's not bad. Which is to
be on time.
Be on time. So amazing people show up ready to amaze. Now, being on time is not like, hey, the office opens at 8 o'clock. I'll get in here at 7:59. Run in, throw my clothes, my jacket down. Made it. 8 o'clock. No, we are ready to go at 8 o'clock. We're not flipping on the computer. We're not trying to get our head in the game. We are ready to go. Vince Lombardi, let's sports. You're a sports guy. What was his whole thing about being on time?
A half hour early.
15 minutes early.
Yeah, 15 minutes was on time.
15 minutes early was on time. Basically, if you're on time, you're late. Okay, and if you take that to heart,
That's
my
Tom
dad.
Coughlin too.
Yep. And my dad, when I used to do magic shows, and I had it down to where I could go into a kid's birthday party. Where do you want me to perform? In that corner, great. Open up my box, and everything's ready to go. I do the tricks. I put them right back where they're supposed to go, close the box, walk out the door, get in the car, go to the next gig, right? And my dad would say, well, the party's at 1 o'clock. What time do you need to show up? I go, well, I need to show up like 2 minutes before 1. No, you don't. The parents, about 15 or 20 minutes before, they're going to look at their watch. When's this guy going to show up?
Worried.
Yeah, and you need to get that is friction. That messes up the whole experience. That's bad customer service.
Same thing with speaking.
Exactly.
How many times we booked a speaker and it's like, oh man, I hope this guy's going to show.
Right. It happens. So I show up the night before, sometimes late. I text the client on the way in. The Eagle has landed. I'm in.
It's fair.
I'm in the hotel. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Now they don't have to worry about all night. Wake up. Did the speaker show up last night?
And your newsletter. How do people get it? Worth it for the average person out there?
Yeah.
A lot of young entrepreneurs, and I'm touching on this subject because sometimes the big idea gets in the way of understanding about how you facilitate the big idea. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there watching. The newsletter would be perfect.
Yeah, so just go to hyken.com, HYKEN.com, and you'll see it's free, the newsletter. And here's the cool thing.
A lot of cool cartoons.
I do the cartoon every week. The cartoon matches up with the short little, and it's very tactical. Here's an idea you can use. And if you go back and you look in the archives, you'll find dozens. Take the cartoons, make copies of them, share them with people. I encourage people to use them. That's why I put them out there. In addition to that, go to sheptv.com.
What's on there?
That's
Shep
my
TV.
YouTube channel.
I've never seen that before.
You can go to YouTube and put in Shep Hyken. How boring. Let's just go to Shep TV. It takes you straight to my YouTube channel.
Wow.
ShepTV.com. And there's 500 videos on there that match up with the lessons that I write in my blogs and my newsletter.
So you're posting a lot of video.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And that way people, they learn different ways. Show the video, give them the article to support the video, and then take the cartoon, blow it up, put it in the lunchroom for people to see for the week.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, great. Thank you for joining. Shep, thank you so much.
My pleasure, man.
Tomorrow we got Joe Plumeri here, who's former chair of Citicorp. We're starting a movement. We're going to be talking about the opioids epidemic. We're going to be talking about what it takes to get something going. His big line he hit me with is, he goes, man, now with these think tanks, I need a do tank.
There you go.
I
I love that.
Do tanks.
Yeah.
I love that line. Joe's full of a lot of different lines, a lot of energy.
The do tank.
The do tank.
execution tank.
Tomorrow we're going to have a do tank with Joe Plumeri. He's going to be amazing, to say the least. He never under-delivers. And we got a great show for you on Wednesday also. Thank you for taking the time and joining us. Hey, email in your questions, Facebook in your messages so I know who to call, who wants to be on the show. We'll be taking a lot of calls tomorrow with Joe. And you have a guy who has started and built a lot of businesses. If you want to get on the show tomorrow, please Facebook message in your phone number, a little bit about your situation, your company. We'll try to get you on. Have a great, productive day today. And don't forget about customer service. This much can make a huge difference. Have a great day. Thank you, Shep.
Thanks, brother.